in 2022, we also got the mission to manage the Porto Pact for Climate with the goal to be carbon neutral by 2030. And despite Porto Ambiente is a young company, we have a little more than 8 years. In fact, we have been a very successful company over the years, and where we can highlight the being appointed the best national company operating in the waste management 2 times in 2021 and 2023 by the National Regulatory Authority. Our main activities are, of course, the waste management through the different kinds of collections and the street cleaning, where we can include removing graffitis from the walls, vegetation harvesting, and beach cleaning. Regarding packaging, I believe most of you are not aware that in last year we have collected more than 5,000 tons of this kind of waste. Which is a result of the collection of more than 1,400 selective wasting points that we have in the city, and also from door-to-door collection, residential and non-residential. And this means that we are covering now more than 90% of the city, considering the maximum range distance to a collection point from each house or building. And so the question is, what can we do with this packaging, plastic mainly? So besides sending it to LIPOR, that is the responsible to make the proper separation and sending it to recycling companies, it's also possible to create some new goods like billboards for our eco centers, toys, and even replacing traditional metal pieces like this that most of the time are stolen because it has value for this kind of material that is not so valuable but makes the same effect. On the other hand, we also work in the area of prevention and on a new approach of waste collection at large events like Queima das Fitas. This is a major student event that occurs once a year and for an entire week, and they stop using plastic cups, disposable plastic cups, for these new ones that can be reused for the entire week and even throughout the years. At the same time, we have changed the way that the waste was disposed by creating a unique single point of delivering the waste, where we have staff there to receive the waste and to check if the quality of separation is okay. And this new approach has resulted in a separation rate last year for 85%, which is something amazing. In the technological field, we have introduced 2 new approaches also. The first one involves installing these kind of electronic devices that you are seeing in the picture, that emits an electronic signal, every 10 seconds. So any of our trucks that are passing by can pick up this signal and sending it to our database, which allows us to have a permanent inventory of our equipment in the streets. And at the same time, we can also know the exact date and time when the bins are unloaded. The second approach, and since 2021, we began to install electronic locks, like the one here in picture, that are only operated with the RFID cards that are provided by us. And this is very important because only the people that have signed up to this separate waste food can use, and this ensures us that the quality of the waste is very high. And this is important because the final product resulting from the treatment at LIPOR is an organic compost that can be used in agriculture and is even approved for organic farming. In the digital area, we have introduced two types of computer applications. Report a Port is aimed for any citizen that is in the city and allows them to report any situation that they find wrong in the streets. And the second one is aimed for the Porto Ambiente employees, the APP 2.0. This application, besides recording the daily activities of our workers, also allows to report the same kind of situations that need intervention, like waste outside containers, for instance. And depending on the problem, both of these applications can connect directly to our quick response teams that goes to these places and solve the problem. And when the problem is solved and they register that in the application, the person who reported it gets a message that the situation is done. Then in the field of procurement, and as a result of our requirements in the new purchases, such as recycled materials and low carbon emissions, we have been named ambassadors for green public procurement in 2023 by the Portuguese Environment Agency. Then in the environmental awareness, we have three programs. One is aimed for elementary and high school students through activities on recycling, waste reduction, and the preservation of public spaces. And the second one mainly takes places on the beaches by promoting awareness about recycling and also preservation of public spaces. And the third one is aimed for senior people over the age of 65 that they become our agents in their communities, and then they promote public awareness for correct waste separation and preservation of public spaces also. And to end this presentation, I would like to share our next steps that involves using artificial intelligence with the aim of becoming more efficient, improving our response times, and to be more transparent to our citizens, who in the end of the day are the persons we are working for. So it's much to say in so short time, but I hope I could make myself clear, and thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation. As I said before, we'll have time in the end of all presentation for some questions. Now I'll give the floor to Luísa Magalhães. Okay. Good morning. Thank you for the invitation. So my presentation is about collaboration for circular innovation in the North, the experience of Smart Waste Portugal. I will talk about all the association, the different projects, and I will focus on two initiatives that we have in the north of Portugal. Smart Waste Portugal is a non-profit association that was created in 2015, and whose mission is to promoting the circular economy across multiple value chains through education, innovation, collaboration, and business development. We have our vision to be a catalyst for circularity within the Portuguese business ecosystem, driving business opportunities while ensuring regenerative practices. We act in three pillars. That one is influence. That the idea is to connect stakeholders to increase impact. The other one is to transform, is to create new business models. And another one is to inspire, is the production of knowledge and best practice of circular economy. Our areas of activity are five. One is the knowledge production and dissemination. The idea is to disseminate good practices, legislation, incentives, studies, events. We organize also some events. The other area is the cooperation. We think the collaboration is really important between different value chains, and within the value chain, academia, universities, associations, government. So we act in different working groups and collaborative platforms that I will talk after. Also, the idea is to promote R&D, research and development, and knowledge transfer, to link the universities and companies, entities, to promote some consortium. We think is really important. Another one is to promote and support our members. Of course, we have a permanent contact to our members and try to find solutions for circular economy. And the last one is to give dimension to the circular economy, making some advocacy with the government and develop some protocols in different sectors. We act in different areas. For example, the plastics, packaging, paper, cardboard, electrical and electronic equipment, food waste, construction and demolition, textiles, different areas, because we have members from different sectors. Our social bodies are this, but I think the important thing is that we have 158 members. And our members are from different areas, different sectors, different dimensions. We have different entities from our members. To have an idea, our members are the majority are from the industry and distribution. We have the main retailers in our members and different industries in our members. Another percentage is almost 20% are from the waste management sector. We have also universities, associations, municipalities, consulting and services and engineering entities. So we have a variety of entities in our members. And one important indicator is that 50% are from SME. We act in a national level. We have members from different places of the country, and we develop some initiatives. Our main initiatives are to develop some studies, to develop some projects, financing projects, develop some tools to help the members to make the transition for circular economy, and we are involved in some projects in the area of communication that I will explain. For example, when we start, we develop a study. That was a study about the relevance and impact of the waste sector in Portugal from a circular economy perspective. And with this study, we develop our action plan, and we find what are the main sectors that we should work. This study was previous from the action plan for circular economy in Portugal, so it was a really important tool for us. We have also an initiative that is called My Waste, that is a Portuguese B2B digital marketplace for waste. It's a national platform. It's not for members, it's open and free for entities that want to promote the valorization of some waste byproducts and end of waste materials. The idea is to do a match, to find some solutions for the circularity of some products, because in Portugal we have a lot of waste that is going still to landfill, more than 50%, and we try to find some solutions to make to make value of the waste. We have also a project that is Circular Tech. This is a project, a big project in Portugal, that the idea is to create the innovative products and services that promote waste recovery and enhance circularity in Portugal. all these projects are national, but we are focused in some regions, of course, in these projects. We have also a project that is called Transformec. This project is focused for SMEs, and the idea is to work in different areas like the eco-design, green financing, and ESG. The idea is to make some tools and make some studies and some initiatives of communication and awareness about these topics until February 2027. Moreover, we are recently renowned to be a cluster, for cluster Portuguese circularity. We, together with the SECOLAB, that is the Collaborative Laboratory for Circular Economy in Portugal, we are renowned as a cluster, and we do initiatives like internationalization and interclustering, like the training and capacity building for companies. We will do legal support for the entities. So the idea is to try to increase our circularity rate in Portugal, that is really low, is close to 3%. And with this cluster, we try to promote more services and products in the circular economy. Now we have one project that was Horizon Europe project that we developed in the Norte Region in Portugal. That it was the project 3R Connect, Reduce, Reuse and Rethink. The idea was to create some action plans in 3 areas: textiles, construction and plastics. We were responsible for the textile, and the idea was to connect different stakeholders in the North Region to talk about what are the barriers, what are the opportunities, and develop 3 actions plan together with the Greater Copenhagen, Flanders and Northern Portugal. So it was an important project that we developed to try to accelerate circular transition in these sectors. Moreover, we were challenged by the North Portugal Regional Coordination and Development Commission to be a partner together with INEGI in this project. It was the Frontship project. It was an European project funded by Horizon 2020. That aims to make a green transition from the linear economic model, and the idea is this project was developed in different areas: wood packaging, food and feed, water and nutrients, and plastic and rubber waste. And in this project, we were responsible for the plastic and rubber waste. In the Northern Region, we developed some workshops, and it is an important project because we put together also the stakeholders. In the Northern Region, we have a big number of companies from plastic and rubber, 434 entities from plastic and 96 from rubber, and we have more than almost 1,000 of production of the waste of plastic and rubber. So it is important to work together to see what are the challenges, what are the difficulties in this transition of these sectors. So we developed a roadmap that was finally that we delivered this month with 10 measures and 26 actions. And we have 5 areas that we define. For example, the regulatory framework, the innovation and product design, infrastructures and awareness, and institutional measures. So this roadmap is for the Northern Region, and I think it will be really, really important to work now together in this sector of plastic and rubber. So we are also developing some platforms, collaborative platforms in the association that are One is the Portuguese Plastic Pact. For us, it's really important to work together. And for this platform is in the network of Ellen MacArthur Foundation. And we are working with more than 110 entities in this value chain and try with a vision of that plastic circular economy in Portugal, where plastics never become waste or pollution. So we work together. We have a lot of actions with different targets in relation of recycling, incorporation of plastic, and awareness. And I think we think it's really important to work in the packaging of plastic packaging. Moreover, we have a platform in the glass sector because we have a low rate of recycling of glass in Portugal, and we are a big producer. So we put together all the entities in the glass sector it's a national platform, and try to find solutions to promote a more recyclability and recycling in Portugal. We also work with the young people because we think it's really important to see what young people think about these subjects. And we have a volunteer platform that is Smart Waste Young Professionals with more than 90 members that working areas with mentoring, communication, research, and education. So in general, we do a lot of also communication. We have a podcast in a national radio, because we think the communication and awareness in this sector is really important. This is our team. And to finalize, I think the message is that collaboration and the networking is really important for the transformation for circular economy. So thank you for your attention, and I'm available for any questions you have.
Thank you, Luísa. Sorry. Okay, sorry, we were having some troubles because we are in the same room. Now I will give the floor to Telmo Machado to share his presentation on waste management and circular innovation in Porto.
I believe you can see it now. Yeah, thank you. So good morning to you all. I will try to make this presentation as short as possible and demonstrate how LIPOR, the waste management company of the region of Greater Porto, is dealing with the different urban waste that we receive from the different municipalities that make part of LIPOR. So LIPOR is an association of municipalities, 8 municipalities from the northern region of Portugal. We have Póvoa de Varzim, Vila de Conde, Maia, Matosinhos, Gondomar, Porto, Valongo, and Espinho, also makes part of LIPOR. And in this region, we produce about 500,000 tons of municipal waste every year. This is the production of 1 million inhabitants on this region. So LIPOR has to find different ways of treating the waste that we receive from these municipalities. We have two and now 3 campuses where we deal with all this type of waste. In the first campus, it's located at Vaguinho do Monte and Virmesindo, which is divided between 2 municipalities, Gondomar and Valongo. And here we deal with all the recyclable materials, organic waste, bio-waste, and packaging waste also. At LIPOR 2, or the second campuses of LIPOR, we have our waste-to-energy plants where we treat and valorize all the mixed waste that we produce at our homes. So everything that goes in the black bin or gray bin goes to this facility, and the material it's burned in a controlled process, and the result is energy and also some ashes that we then dispose on our landfill. So today our landfill is only used for the ashes that come out of this waste to energy process. The energy, the electricity, is injected directly in the network, in the national grid, so we can feed up to 150,000 households. But what about the multi-material valorization? Well, when we think about multi-material, we are thinking about all the plastics and metals that are produced by our citizens, and we have to deal with them. Some of them are packaging, some of them are not. And for the packaging material, we already have a new facility, which is our automatic sorting facility for packaging, which is enabled by machine learning. So every time that we present a new material, a new type of packaging for at this machine, she will be able to recognize it in the future. So this is a great collaboration between robots and humans, because we can teach the machine to analyze the plastics and understand which type of material that packaging is made of. After this sorting, we send all these materials in bales, in big bales, that can be introduced in the value chain again. So we have the recyclers, and this is another example of collaboration between local entities and local companies that will reintroduce these different types of plastics in the value chain. But we don't deal only with packaging. We also deal with bio-waste. And with the bio-waste, as Nelson Pinto already demonstrated, everything that is collected, selectively collected. So every bio-waste that is produced in canteens, in restaurants, at our households, is being transformed into an excellent product. So we have about 60,000 tons of organic waste that we receive from the municipalities, and we transform that into about 12,000 tons of compost, really good quality compost that we can use in agriculture. And I will also talk about the different products that we can make with this compost. As I said, we also have to find a solution for the mixed waste. This is the flow of waste that we are trying to reduce, because although we can find a good solution for it, we can transform it into electricity. If we are trying to do circular economy, we have to reduce this type of waste. But still, with this material, we can still do something valuable. In this case, produce electricity. And we end up with some metals that we can also recycle, and the bottom ash or the ashes from these processes can also be transformed into new products. But if we want to make circularity, our circular economy, a reality, we have to look inside our waste and understand what we can do with the waste that we have. So you can notice this is just big numbers, not precise numbers, but just to have an idea. If we look at the total urban waste that we produce, we find that we are only recycling about 27, let's say 30% of the waste that we produce, and 74% is being diverted to the mixed waste plants. So if we look inside the mixed waste, we can see that we still have a lot of bio waste that we have to find solutions, but also some packaging that is still in this mixed waste. So we really have to find new ways in terms of circular economy, dealing with academia, trying to find solutions, but also trying to deal with the different companies to try and put back these materials into the value chain. And we are trying to do it by thinking about a new business model. How can LIPOR transform itself into a service company or a service entity to a product producing entity? And that's what we want to do. Our mission in innovation is really unveil the potential of waste and develop new products for the market. And we defined 3 priorities. In this case, the valorization of the bottom mesh materials, We want also to continue to develop new products for agriculture because we have a really good waste or bio waste in this case, and find new solutions for all the metals and polymers that are not packaging. Of course, we can only do this by digitalizing all the processes that we have, and that's why we introduce also the digitalization as a way to enhance the circularity of the materials. In terms of bottom ash valorization, we are trying to transform this material into construction materials, as you can see in this block that is already being tested at LIPOR, but also mixing it with resins, natural resins that can be products that we already had an award. We won this award at the Red Dot Design Award for this technology of mixing with natural resins. This is a solution, one of the solutions that we can find. But we also have to deal with a non-packaging material. In this case, different types of materials like buckets or this shades that we use at our houses. And we managed to find a solution for this problem, transforming it into a new product. In this case, we transformed the non-packaging materials into a bin, a wall bin that you can put on the wall that is used to make recycling at home or sorting at home. It is called Wally because it goes on the wall, and it's already on the market and you can buy it. And it's made completely out of materials that LIPOR received from the municipalities. In terms of products for agriculture, we are also transforming the compost that we have, since it's of a very good quality material. We managed to transform it into growing media. So the compost that we can use as a fertilizer can also today be used as a growing media, a substrate for plants, for different types of plants. We enhanced our platform of products, and we are also looking towards the future and trying to find new ways of dealing with the bio waste that is being produced. As you know, the collection of bio waste is mandatory, will be mandatory in Europe, so we have to find a solution. And we believe that anaerobic digestion is a way of having a circular bio waste management. So the idea is to implement a new facility that will produce biomethane from the biogas produced in anaerobic digestion, and we will use in this case the digestate, the liquid that results from the process, as a fertilizer for agriculture. But just to finish, because we are dealing with packaging, and one of the challenges that we'll have in the future is the case of the biodegradable packaging or compostable packaging. These materials will bring some problems to the waste management system in the composting facilities, because it will be considered as a contaminant, but also in the plastic sorting and recycling systems, we will have a plastic that is...
Yeah, and also that they are really necessary for the project, that you need to integrate the disciplines, because in some cases you don't.
I'm sorry, I believe Ricardo... No, I don't know if Ricardo wants to say something. No.
I think he just turned on the micro.
So as I was saying, this will be a problem also for the automatic sorting machine, because it is difficult to distinguish between what is a polypropylene and a bio PLA, let's say, biodegradable packaging. So we have to find new ways of dealing with this material, and that's what LIPOR has been doing in the last years. We've been conversing with different companies that produces this different packagings, but also with the ECN, which is the European Compost Network, to try and find new solutions for these materials, doing tests, so we can perform composting tests on the compostable plastics to understand if they are really compostable or not. And we also have to deal with the communication and education of the citizens, trying to make them aware about this new type of materials. But at the end, we are having also these conversations with the European entities that deal with the certification of these materials to try and find a better certification, because the certified products that we have today are not completely certified for to be completely compostable at the industry level. So this is something that I believe we can talk about in the Q&A. But this is just a challenge that we have for the future, and we will have to deal with it. So thank you so much, and I will finish my presentation.
Thank you, Telmo, for your presentation. We already have here one question, but I will leave it to the end of the session if it's okay for you. Now we will have the presentation of Professor António Marques. Professor, I don't know if you want me to share the presentation, or if it's okay for you to share it.
Okay, I think it's on, hopefully.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. Yeah, it's on already.
So, good morning, and thank you very much for the invitation. I'm going to do a brief presentation about some academic research and at the service of regional innovation. After a brief introduction, I'll present some ideas about what's going on with the university, faculty of engineer, and some general projects and some conclusions. The objective of this presentation, as I mentioned, is just to give an overview of what's going on from the point of view of academic research and technology transfer at university and different players in the region, and of course then try to present a non-exhaustive list of projects that are going on these days. So the University of Porto is more or less organized in what we call organizational units, which are most of them faculties, and also some operational and competency centers, and those are structured also in associated laboratories, collaborative labs, and research infrastructures. So within that, the university has what is called the Porto Innovation, which integrates business ignition programs and also schools of startups, training offers, and try to promote entrepreneurship and try to, let's put this way, convince some researchers to put their research in a sort of valorization through the market, and with that try to create a network of business, what they call a network of experience and mentors, what they call circle, and also to look after the property rights, and so they do that. There are an incubator which is called UPTech, and this incubator has 3 centers, one more focused on general science and technology, close to faculty of engineer, and the other is more creative industries, and the third one on the maritime economy. And all this is integrated in a strategic partners network and they try to develop acceleration programs and also try to promote some contests, let's say, in order to what they call business innovation and acceleration programs. So the faculty of engineering is also structured in centers for research. I list a set of centers. Some of them are more related to what we are talking about today, others not so much, but anyway, this is a set of research centers. Also associated laboratories and like ALICE and chemical engineer, and also intelligent systems associated laboratories, and there are others in the mechanical engineer part related also to aerospace technology and so on. Then the faculty has some interfaces institutes, I mean, like in the mechanical engineer area, more related to mechanical engineer and industrial management, which is INES, then INES Tech on the systems engineers and computers, the biomedical engineer, INEB, and also the Sustainable Construction Institute. And these are what we call interface institutes. They are more close to industry, and so they are much more focused on promoting this interface with industry and attract industry to research projects and try to help also to sort out some problems. The faculty has also some competence centers, generally speaking, energy, future cities, design studio, and also railways, and innovation and product services competence center. Within the faculty, there are some programs try also to attract industry. One is a prime program which aims to talent attraction through sponsorship. The companies may do sponsorship, try to promote or merit awards for students or staff, and also they may have early access to best talents, and there is what is called the Talent League or Career Fair, in which these things are promoted. On this program, the educational part is related more doctoral research projects, and also the companies may participate in educational programs like masters and so on, either by invitation or supporting master theses, and also they can ask, and we can do what's co-design tailor-made training course. So design a tailor-made for a specific company, which is sometimes happen. In the research area, we look for industrial research leadership, also co-locating the innovation research centers, and also we try to have companies endowing shares as a way of promoting this relation. In the engagement, then we have active networking events and several other events and corporate and social responsibility and so on, which try to promote this connection. In other words, we try to develop deep and long-term strategic relationships with companies in order to be fruitful for both sides. Within that, there are also a doctoral research program, which is called DORP, which has a structure basically like that. So the company, the prime partner, can make a specific agreement for a doctoral research, defining specific research. We had already with several those programs with companies where they have what they call a big, let's put a big problem, and then they identify what is the problem, specify what is the needs to sort out the problem, and with that agreement, then we go on and carry out the research and try to be controlled with the company what's going on. So I just pass quickly some projects just to have for you to give an idea. That's something going on this area. For instance, something on more related to what we are talking about, but is recycled electronic waste. Others on pet waste within the university, or another one try to develop sustainable technology, 3D printing for flexible circuits, or another project in the area of water, wastewater and reclamation, or sustainable approach for recycling and reuse of discarded mobile phones. Also in the methane area and the role of conductive materials in the acceleration of methane production from waste of anaerobic digestion, packaging of the future, also researching also industrial water circularity, and more specific to what you are talking about, creation of group of excellence on engineered biofilms, and try to develop new lead-free brass metal alloys, or integrating plastics films, film recycling and design studio on reuse of low-density polyethylene. And also another set like develop circular pathways of a new low carbon transition, reduce plastic industrial waste, again, plastic of the future, and also an area which particularly assessed to mechanical engineering, gear systems, try to develop a new type of gears that are focused on the sustainability of it, focused on 3D reconstruction of high-dimensional carbonized gears integrated to the wind sector. So with that, I can just say briefly that the ecosystem, the University of Porto and engineer faculty is able to innovate and produce research that can be easily transferred through different mechanisms to the industry to valorize their potential and map perspectives. And with that, I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Professor, for your presentation. Last but not least, we'll have Professor Ricardo Simões speaking about financing, innovation financing in Região Norte. Professor, I don't know if you are already ready to share your presentation.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Okay, great. So I don't know if I can start sharing, if I can replace.
I think you can start sharing. We are yet seeing Professor Antonio's presentation, but I think if you share it, we will see yours.
I'll try. And good morning all. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation. So I'll try to be very brief in covering the 8 minutes that were requested. The Commission for Coordination and Development of the Norte Region is the regional authority responsible for a series of things. I would say one of our most known activities is the management of the Norte 2030 regional program. As such, we are responsible for funding a series of activities in the North, but the majority of our tasks and roles are much more in the coordination of activities in the region, licensing, and a series of other things. That being said, I should briefly mention what is Norte, our regional specialization strategy, and also the regional program. So for those who don't know it that well, the Norte is this region here that has 8 NUTS 3 territories. The most known city is probably Porto at an international level, and it has an airport and a port. And Norte is a fourth of the territory, a third of the population, a third of companies, a third of R&D expenditure, and we have a surplus on the economic balance, on the foreign trade. We have more than 50% of the employment in manufacturing. We have more than 50% of renewable energy production, a series of positive things. However, the North still struggles with a big problem. We are only 30% of the GDP. We have almost 40% of social insertion beneficiaries, and more than that, we are the only NUTS 2 Portuguese region where all the NUTS 3 territories have a wealth per inhabitant below 75% of the average. So we are having difficulties converting all the industrial activity, all the knowledge generated here into wealth of the population, and this is our major struggle. So this is the North Regional Innovation System. It is very dense. It has over 290 business entities. It has a very strong correlation between the technological infrastructures and the industry, and it is clearly needing a rebalance. So that is why a lot of the funds that we receive from the European Union are for cohesion. So we have to make a serious effort in to try to balance more the territory. Even because if we look at this map in a different way and we overlap over the innovation system exports, this is slide from 3 years ago, but it is the last data that we have, you'll see that they match perfectly. So we are generating wealth where we create knowledge, and that is a very important and very interesting thing to see. So very briefly also, in terms of the regional innovation score, we are a moderate innovator. Our strongest points are scientific publications, registrations of brands and designs, and innovative product sales. Our weakest points are PCT patent registrations and mostly cooperation of small, medium companies in innovation. Aside from that, the regional competitiveness index is also interesting. You can see here how we evolved over the last 3 editions of this index. Our strongest point is innovation, our weakest point is efficiency. So you see that we've progressed very well compared to most of the Portuguese and Spanish regions, and we went from being at the tail of this list to being above average, but still we are faced with this challenge of not being very efficient, and that is essentially the issue of productivity or creation of wealth per inhabitant and per square kilometer. So we need to move towards more productive sectors where we have higher complexity products, higher added value products, and essentially that means being in a better position along value chains. So our smart specialization strategy for the North has 8 priority domains. You can see them here. So obviously sea resources, life sciences, creativity and fashion, and habitat, which includes construction, building, agri-food, tourism, sustainable mobility and energetic transition, and industry, the advanced manufacturing systems, and also what we call technology, governance, economy, and society, which is essentially the digital transition. And so we are trying to balance the digital transition together with the environment and energy transitions. And one of our major objectives for the near future is in fact the reduction of dependence on carbon fossil fuels. So we are committed to reaching our decarbonization targets ahead of schedule, and this is in fact the label for our regional innovation valley. We also have identified smart specialization value chains in the region. We don't have time, obviously, to go through this. And so I'll try to get into what I was asked to cover more, which is the program Norte 2030. And here I have a few tables or facts that are in Portuguese. I apologize for that in advance. So you can see here that the Norte regional program is 3.4 thousand million euros. It is the biggest regional program in Portugal, and it is only beat by a few thematic multi-regional programs, but it is quite large, and it is now being reprogrammed for, let's say, midterm review. Among the operational objectives that we have, you can see here that the most relevant for this topic of today is really the more competitive North, with close to 1,000 million euros, almost a third or 28%, so between a third and a fourth of the overall program. Although obviously some initiatives and some opportunities for R&D exist in some of the others. Within this operational program 1, we have the aspects of research and innovation, the aspects of competitiveness of small, medium enterprises, and the smart specialization and industrial transition. And so obviously there are many other cooperation programs, and I just like to call your attention that we are also heavily engaged in some Interreg programs, including the Interreg POCTEP, which finances operations with Spain, but we are the actual managing authority for the Interreg Atlantic area. And this is the only program in the European Commission that is managed outside of Brussels. We are the only region managing a program like this in the entire European Union. Everything else is managed in Brussels. And so you can see here some numbers. So we have grown both overall, and in terms of the company's investment in R&D expenses over the last 10 years, a very significant growth to about 3 times more in companies and 2 times more overall. The intensity of R&D in terms of percentage of our GDP, as you can see, has also increased substantially. It has increased by almost 40% overall, and in companies also very significant. It is a lacking issue, so it's important for us that this keeps growing. You can see here the number of researchers involved in R&D, both at non-business entities and companies, that has also grown very significantly. And here is a list. This one has the names in Portuguese of the calls, but you can see here that we have over 100 million euros approved only in these 4 specific objectives in calls that were around either R&D or advanced education, smart specialization, and training. And for right now, we still have open a large call of 40 to 60 million euros for technological infrastructures. We'll have one next year on scientific infrastructures, and we have reprogrammed the program to cover new areas. So we'll open calls specifically connected with the STEP EU program, and obviously now also in defense, because it became a priority for the EU. And until now, the regional programs could not open calls related to defense. Even dual use was very limited, and now we'll be able to fund directly some defense initiatives. And obviously we'll co-fund projects that are under direct management of the European Commission. You can see here the allocation, and I just wanted to call your attention that 500 million euros is for SMEs and 350 is here in research and innovation. So 2 of those topics that I've mentioned to you before. And in terms of actual allocation, you can see that we have about 50% already decided and allocated. Okay, so this is now being executed. As you know, it takes a long time now for the money to actually flow, because we need to receive the reimbursement expenses, constructions need to finish, all that for us to actually pay. So the execution is low. It's here below 20%, but half of the money has been allocated. And so our typical operations, and as I mentioned, we are under a reprogram moment. So I cannot tell you if we will open into 2026 again these calls, but typically we fund non-business or consortium projects for low density and for other territories, more focused on companies and consortiums, so together with universities, etc. We also have internationalization calls, so both, again, for non-business entities and for companies. We have the typology of what we call the demonstrators, that are ITRL projects that, again, can be done individually by a company or in consortiums with academic partners. And then we have also calls for IP protection and for qualification of small, medium companies. I didn't include here, but we also have calls that are very specific, like, for example, on circular economy. We had one closing just a few months ago, and also we have some calls, for example, for adoption, for hiring advanced human resources, what we call highly qualified human resources. And so that is a quick glimpse of North and its regional program. And I apologize, but I'm in 3 events at the same time, so I won't be able to take up calls, but I'm very happy to follow up later on and answer questions now, but I can follow up later on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. It was a really good presentation of our region. We are already late, but I think I will give time for just one question that we have here from Ian, that is for LIPOR and Telmo. Ian asks, where are the sorting facilities financed from?
Sorry, could you repeat that, Anna?
It's about the financing of LIPOR, I think, and the sorting facilities.
So LIPOR is an association of municipalities, so all the funding comes directly from the municipalities. But in this case, for the sorting machine, for the sorting facility, we had also financing funding from Portugal 2030, So it's a national funded project. So it depends on the type of project that we are talking about. In this case, we relied on the national funding, but we also have some funding from the Horizon 2030 or Horizon Europe, and all the European Commission funding that we can manage to get.
Thank you so much, Telmo. We are already really late. I really wanted to give time for more questions, but I think we are really late, and I don't want to keep this stereotype of South Europeans being always late. So I'll try to be really quick. I just want to thank all of the presenters. I think we hope we have given you, for those that are not from North, a good presentation on our region. I really thank the presenters. If you have some questions, you can send me via email and I will send to the presenters. I think they will be open to answer. I will just ask you to pay attention to the message that Agnieszka put here in the chat. So you have our social networks, our next events. So please keep in touch with the EPIC project, because it's really important for us, all stakeholders involvement. Thank you, all of you, and all people that assist to our workshop. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you
Thanks
all.
to you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, bye.